Welcome back, everyone, to World Warfare and Economics. We're playing a series as China. In the first episode, we basically got our economy kind of set up the way we wanted it to. A lot of the groundwork was laid. Budget things were massively changed. Although we're pretty much right back to where we were with negative 60 billion. This is like with huge ups and downs that all just happen to balance out more or less. I mean, even some final tweaking at the very end of the episode last time was to get this from negative 160 back down to just negative 60. And that's okay. We'll absorb that cost for now. We can always take on a little more debt if we need. I mean, we're, long-term focused. Not really. I guess we're war focused in theory, the series. So again, just to remind you, the series goal is to actually get our military legs under us. I want to just kind of play out the little tensions that China has with a lot of its neighbors in Asia. We all know that there's a lot of tension between China and Taiwan, whether it's, one China or two nations, big question mark there. There's a lot of tensions between Vietnam and China, a lot of shipping stuff with the Philippines as well. We can maybe play out those kind of tensions. We can also just think about if we want, as the big bad guy bosses, we can think of like Russia or Australia. I don't like the idea of Australia simply from the perspective that it requires more naval stuff. And I don't really understand how naval transportation works. So anyway, let's move into this one. Things I've done in the let me go maybe at speed almost max, just to explain a few things I've done off camera. Like I said I would, I tried to go over to the facilities and go through all of these and start building stuff. So we're building hospitals, we're building mental hospitals. In fact, we just finished the mental hospitals. Let's do another round. I don't need any schools. I didn't subtract any, so we're fine on education. Looks like I'm building a whole lot of homeless shelters, rehab centers, retirements, women's shelters, all this stuff just to meet the demand that we don't currently meet yet. Transportation, we're mainly missing it in city. Oh my gosh, I have built 8 big airports and 9 seaports. So that I eventually, it was so tedious though to place each one. So I started off by like, south seaport, and eventually all these white ones are the ones under construction right now. Then I just started going to numbers, and then the airplanes, I was like, you know what, we're just going to label all of these GCAP number airport. And GCAP, oh, hooray, a tank prototype failed. Well, it will just be in the garbage can, so that's not a big deal. But GCAP, that stands for Great Chinese Airport Project. Yes, very original. So we have a bunch of GCAP airports all over the place. It's quite tedious, I would say, unfortunately, especially if you have such a big deficit as we do. You can see that we're 40 million international seats short. We only, with all the airports we already have all over the place, all these blue dots only amount to 14 million, and we need 50. We need like basically 3 times the number of, take all the blue dots out here, multiply by 3. That's how many we need. So that's just, I'm only human. There's no way that I'm going to actually do that. Sorry. So I did, like in 17, and that was already a whole lot of typing and placing and all that. So that's where we're just going to leave it. And you know what? To hell with the rest of the international seats. Sorry. Probably another UI thing that needs to be fixed that we cannot reasonably be expected to meet this demand by clicking. I don't know. It would be like, 200 times or something. I don't know. It's a whole bunch. So moving on for transportation. Sports, I decided to go ahead and add the athletic fields, the basketball fields, the more international ones, soccer, tennis. I didn't add football or baseball because those I would consider a little bit less fully recognized internationally. I added some international, some leisure places. Media, this is one that I wanted to cover on camera because I think it is pretty important. Also, this is a place where you get engineers and scientists. Now, the very weird thing about this is the manpower, engineers and scientists, is under media, not, mind you, under the energy, which is another place we want to visit. But with media, none of these facilities actually require either engineers or scientists. So it's a little bit strange. I mean, I understand the grouping, having engineers in the networking category, that makes sense. But probably those both belong under energy just because that's the plants, the facilities that actually use those things, and there's no manpower specified for energy. So we don't have any 5G mobile. Let's just start cranking on everything. Just give me all the things. I'm going to get all the new technologies. Fiber is definitely good, and then a DSL2. we'll get that as well. So we'll just, it's not giving me any. Give me 0. Not what I want to see. Okay, so apparently these are going to take a long time. Fine, I'll just get, 2 years worth in one go. Built that many. So yeah, we can do it individually if we have to. It's not like my preferred way. Less clicks the better, but that's fine. 5G, we did somehow manage to build 9 with that. I don't know why. That one worked, but the other ones didn't. Okay. Let's get 43 of that. So just, 13. So that's some place to start. We're just bridging the gap. We're not that far behind. Actually, this is very similar to the US deficiency. So yeah, it does take a little while to close. And definitely the internet speed demand grows pretty significantly. So you have to stay on top of it by continually to build. Yeah, this whole thing, I think this automation with the minister would be great. I just don't trust them, so I should just trust them more. But no, I actually probably have good reason not to trust them because they don't seem to manage the resources for trading resources when I do that for them. So I gave Shin-Chu here in finance 50 billion to trade resources, subsidize resources, and produce resources, and he's not spending any of his money. Ergo, I don't believe he's doing his job. Now, there's also interior affairs. We could have we could do managing of these things. Unfortunately, I don't know what exactly this means. Does it mean only build facilities? Does it mean they're going to be changing my laws, which I don't want? So, a big question mark. When I have question marks, typically I just default to controlling it manually myself. Okay, so that's one thing. We also wanted to look specifically at the energy. I did all of the facilities, so I built more apartments and all that, but energy I didn't touch as well because this is kind of a fun one to think about on camera together. I want to move China towards nuclear energy. We have the uranium. I'm actually not sure if that's a true statement. If we don't have the uranium, and maybe we don't, come to think of it, we will soon. I plan to get the uranium. So let's try to build as many of these as possible. 30,000, that'll close the gap real quick, so that's great. It will substantially increase our expenditures, but yeah, that's all just down to like 0.1 billion, which is noise in our bigger budget. So we'll do that. And then we need a backup plan. So the question then is, we can always click this resources thing to see what each one produces. Consumes. Obviously, a gas energy plant consumes natural gas. That's all of these are pretty, oil, fuel for pet coke, coal, right? So, we know what these are going to produce. But natural gas, this is probably the cleanest burning of them. I'm not sure which one is the best bang for our buck. This is 55. Nuclear is just so big. Yeah, 470 per. It's just by far the best one to get. I think actually coal is pretty efficient, unfortunately, but it's also, it is the Chinese way to do coal, I feel. I feel it would be. Not to be concerned too much about the environment, just do whatever you want. Electricity from pet coke. Pet coke kind of makes sense to me. I know it's polluting, but it is kind of recycling something, isn't it? Can't we see? This is the fuel byproduct, isn't it? Maybe we'll just go full nuclear. Oh, actually, the more important thing is we should go to resources, and this is the best way. This is the way, when the game is working well, it works well, right? I like the fact that to figure out which one of those we should use, what we ought to do is simply check what are the resources that we have for each of those categories. So I'll just scroll down until I see that we have no apparent amount of coal, so let's not use more coal. Fine, fair enough. We have energies, yeah, huge deficit. This is energy is reporting what we see in the other place, I think. So it says that we have production, consumption, 110 and 350. Is that correct? Well, yeah, 160 and 3. Oh, so this green must be 110 plus the imports. Okay, that's good to know. I didn't realize that. I guess it's the only category that we could see that would have imports. You don't import the internet, well, especially if you're not China. Especially if you are China. So, okay, so energy, forget about that. Fuel, we have no reserve of this either. Okay, and now I'm starting to become concerned for our ability. Okay, natural gas, we have none of that. Oil, we have none of that. That kind of makes sense since they have to import so much from Russia. Yeah, we're, in fact, not in a great place. Uranium, we have, deficits in all over the place. Okay, so I thought I was going to start building some of these, and then I remembered that there was a reason why I wasn't building uranium. What was it, though? Let's go back and check. Oh no, we are building uranium. Okay, so we are building uranium. We're going to need a lot of it anyway because we already built nuclear power plants. Let's just look at what the next best resource for us is. I didn't plan to spend too much time on the resources, by the way, so let's just try to get through this fairly quickly because there's a lot of other interesting things we can go through. Natural gas. We are... Yeah, okay, that one's not too bad. And this is the one I would prefer to do the most. So let's just remember we're negative 500 on that one. Negative 500 on gas. Fuel, oh my gosh, we're so negative on fuel. We're definitely going to need, I mean, look at the price is skyrocketing too, but we're going to need to bridge this gap for fuel. That's just way too high. We can't, I don't think we can sustain ourselves with this kind of negative thing. So we need to build fuel anyway, and definitely don't use fuel for our power. Natural gas is looking even better now. Might as well just take a look at coal. Coal, we're also doing pretty bad. And so let's just go ahead and let's do two things. One, let's get more, oh, oil. That's the other thing I need. Oil. Oil situation is not great. So we need oil and fuel, but then let's move towards natural gas as well. Okay, good. So I have a plan. We want oil and fuel. Oil. So oil. Let's see if we have any places with oil. Practically not, but a little bit. Let's produce all the stuff we can. And again, this is something I haven't really covered, is we don't know the price that it costs us to produce this versus just getting it from the market. But for now, I know that we're going to want oil, and this is the only place left with oil, and oil's, you know, a pretty important thing. So let's go ahead and get 3. I don't know this, because this province only has copper and oil, and there's a lot of places that have copper, right? Yeah. So you know what? Forget it. We're just going to go ahead and max out the oil production from this place. That's the last of its construction capability, but I think that's fine. Okay, next we want fuel. So we need to produce some refineries, essentially. Economy, resources. I guess we can just go here to private construction. We want, it doesn't matter. We just need a place with available spots. 52, maybe anything greenish. Sichuan. Maybe this place. Well, I'd like to see what kind of resources they have as well. Like this one only has diamonds and copper. That's not too crazy. So like taking up more space in here is not going to limit our ability to our, you know, we're unlikely to need a whole lot of production for diamonds and copper. We already have both of those, I think, more or less covered. So this is a good place to build a fuel refinery or oil refinery for fuel. There. So let's see, we're, wow, huge deficit. Now we need the oil to do this, but I'm assuming that we have, well, I guess we shouldn't go more than the number of oil plants I just built was like 5 or 6. So let's go 7 here, which is not going to make a big difference, is it? I suppose that this resource probably tells us exactly what the exchange rate is for goods. Let's go over, not exchange rates, but the production ratio. Let's go to fuel and see, okay, so one fuel takes 231. No, I want to see this. Okay, so 14 oil gives us 231 fuel? I don't know. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly. I probably could just spend a half a second off camera thinking about this and it would make sense, but let me not try to figure it out right here. We'll just close this. I'm going to consider resources fair enough until, but not until we get natural gas. Oil, natural gas. Okay, so that one. And natural gas is going to be a problem. Well, then we just won't build new power. I guess, tough luck, China. We want more hydro dams is what we want. All right, let's move on. So the next thing I wanted to talk about today is designs. I added a few more designs. In fact, we can just roll the camera. I mean, okay, great. We got the year-end report, so this is good. Now we can do a new budget and all that. This is a cool thing the game does. I like this a lot, that at the end of every year, it gives you like a review of everything that's happened. Now, what I don't like is kind of the same old complaint I've had before. The green and the percentages and all this, they don't always, they're kind of broken. Some of them aren't, you know, let's see if I can give an example. Okay, so my population grew by 0.06%. That is good. My GDP capita grew by 12.7%. That's good. Accounts balance, like this is not, I don't think account balance should be something that is a percentage. It's really more about the raw amount. So some of them you're going to want to see percentage, like GDP. Did it grow by a percent? That's what you're interested in. The account, it's, I think, more interesting just to see the raw number. And you can kind of see the raw number, so maybe the percentage is fine there. GDP growth. Yeah, this is a good example. Our GDP growth went from negative 0.67% to 0%, which means it did not grow at all. And that is a negative 100% change. Like, this does not make any sense. Probably a percentage-based statistic needs to be reported as a plus minus of simply percentage, as in this should be plus 0.67%. Otherwise, we're taking a percent of a percent, which is, by the way, completely I mean, there's nothing wrong with that mathematically, but it's just not the way human brain thinks. We don't usually think about, like, that 20% growth was actually a, 200% growth compared to of the percentage compared to the previous year. You can do that, but it's very confusing to people. And that's actually one way that you can write news articles that are misleading, because 200% is a lot bigger than 20%. Anyway, let's see. Military. I mean, we didn't do anything with the military, really. All we did is apparently lose soldiers. I didn't even look at we had the whole nother thing. I forgot to get to, so apparently I just broke I didn't actually want to clear out of that, but I didn't manage my personnel last time. So our training and our recruits are pretty low. I mean, that makes sense because our revenue is not really supportive. If this was positive, I'd feel more comfortable recruiting more people. But what about the economy as far as taxes go? Is it time? It is time. Okay, good. So I see that because the taxes have been reset, we can go ahead and squeeze a little bit more out of our people. Look, happiness has doubled. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Feel free to just pay the government more, and they will. So let's also tax corporate, Leo. That's another 100 billion right there. That's great. Let's do another 3%. We'll do 5% on high income. Capital tax, we'll do maybe like 2% more. Property tax, let's take another 5%. Property issues there's no property issues in China, right? No problems. Do 5% more for inheritance tax. We'll do wealth tax, we'll take that up to 12% as well. Carbon tax, I mean, it's pretty minor, so we'll take it up to 10%, and luxury tax, we'll take that one up to 15%. And we'll confirm these changes. So this is going to be a lot more money. I am not even ballparking this, but maybe we'll go up a little bit on the low income tax as well. That's as high as I want to take it. Well, if maybe 5% is the highest I would take it. And that's one of the first things I'd like to even cut. But let's do all those things just to increase our revenue. And we'll see where that leads us in a moment. Designs. I forgot to get to designs. So yeah, we'll just run this while I'm trying to get to the designs. So I was trying to do. So I added a few more designs. Our skill level is 54%. I added air cast prototype. I added, what did I do cast for? I added one of these, helicopter cast. I forget which. I added an APC prototype. I added a patrol prototype. And we failed. So we have land, navy, air, navy. So we need another land prototype to keep like the distribution 222 going. Let's get a defenses prototype. Actually, these can be pretty expensive, I think. That's 2.5 billion. My goodness. Maybe not defenses. Let's get artillery. That's a good one to prototype. So yeah, we can max out the HP. We can max out the speed. Max the AT. And look at that. So this is going to be very cheap for a good design increase. Okay, good. So let's design this as artillery prototype. Design. Go out of the screen so we get back to true north and zoom in. Good. Okay, so that's those are a lot of things I wanted to cover. We got the design stuff out of the way. Yeah, I didn't get the personnel done. And we didn't really look at the year-end review. You can still look at it again, stats and ranking. This is basically the year-end review, but you also have the year-end report directly you can pull up. Let's see, what else? So we don't really care about the country needs changes. That's just going to be such a mess. I'm not going to look at it in detail. This is nice, the country stats. Unemployment rate went down from 0.05 to 0.04. I mean, that is a minus 11% change, but again, that's a little bit deceiving. It makes you think that your unemployment rate changed by negative 11%. In my opinion, it totally makes sense, again, going down by this much. And when your numbers is only changing by 0.05 to 0.04, knowing that it was a negative 11% change actually gives you an idea about what the next decimal points are that they're not showing. So it was probably something like 0.48 to 0.42 because it was obviously not 0.05 to 0.04. That would be a 20% change. Population growth. Yeah, so this is, weird. It's a percentage. The population growth percentage was negative and it went to positive, but they treat that as a negative because negative subtract, you get this. 1.27 times 0.20 plus 0.20 will give you this number. If that made sense. Maybe I didn't even say it correct, but hopefully the idea is clear. Probably not, just not a good way of reporting it, right? Since it's such a mess. Okay, let's not harp on it anymore. Let me just scroll the stats and talk about the stuff that does make sense. Minor adjustment of drug addiction rate. It's good. The trend is still very important though, because we made a lot of changes. And it's nice to see what is the trend here. Sickness rate is going, I don't know what, it's 1%. It's too small of a change to really see the impact. And I don't know if I can trust the green or red. Crime rate went down. That's good. I would like to see the rate of student, like people going to class. So economic growth, again, I guess this one's just broken, just stuck at 1.0. Inflation went down to 0%. So that's interesting. Actually, that's not even a good thing. We kind of want a little bit of inflation, right? 2% is usually the target. Poverty rate went, I guess, improved maybe. Here we go. Student occupancy. It changed in a negative way, but I see 0.76, 0.76, so don't really know what is actually happening there. Electricity production rate went up. Good, because we are producing electricity production facilities. Okay, military, don't have much to say there. Demographics. There is an increase in poor people. That's not a good thing. I mean, this green should be a red. I guess it's hard to say. But yeah, we got more poor people. That's not good. It's probably because my taxes are only going to make things worse. We got rid of a few millionaires and a few high-end ones, but anyways, this also shows you that obviously these percentages don't add up to zero. It's not net zero because the distribution of number of poor people versus medium, high, and millionaires, it just goes to show you that we probably didn't have that many poor people. We probably had a lot of medium and maybe some high, but I mean, oh my gosh, it's high. Almost all of the people are high wealth. That's fantastic. So if I knew that, I would actually not change the low income tax. I will not increase it anymore. I may decrease it, and I'll probably increase the high tax. I have not been covering this stuff at all. I have been doing the auto answer every now and then just to see what we have. But again, there's arms offers. People are actually trying to buy. This is actually buy a unit. I never figured out what this is. I've actually accepted this, but I don't know what actually happened, if it was supposed to come from my inventory or what. In theory, I'd be fine to sell Sudan some bombers. I mean, we're just China right now. We'll sell to anyone. We'd have no particularities about that. But I guess what I'll do is auto answer, and then we'll see it come back in a second with all the people who are left. I guess it takes one other deal. Okay. And we'll just reject all. Because all the remaining ones, those would have been negative trades with a negative balance. Okay, wow. So what next? I mean, ultimately, we're going to, once we get this South Africa, I mean, for BRICS purposes, I guess we should go over and support our buddies. South Africa. 3 people have already contributed. We can blow away their contributions. No, not really. I can donate a little bit more than them, and you can see that it renormalizes all the influence to 0.5%. But at least we got some influence with South Africa. That's a nation that we would like to stay on good terms with. Yeah, you can see that we were the top supporter of Cuba. We were the top supporter of Sweden. I mean, not that the Sweden-China connection makes a whole lot of sense, but okay. We failed another design. This is great. Got this over with. Artillery prototype failed. What's our design percentage at now? 59%. So that one, I guess the smaller cost ones just don't make a big difference. We could design another one instead because we have... Wait, was that 2? APC prototype failed. We already failed a land one before. Oh, I never got another land one. No, I did artillery. Oh, the APC prototype it must have been the same day. I didn't even notice, but it must have been, or it popped up earlier and I didn't see it. Let's do an MLRS, missile launch, multiple launch. I forget. MURLs, right? I mean, but I don't remember what the abbreviation stands for. But this should be an expensive one, and therefore I think it'll net us some good design skill. And I'm trying to figure out, that one's pretty impactful. We'll do the missile capacity up at like half. Yeah, and that's another thing. If you accidentally click behind the screen, it will just close your unit designer. That was a mistake. Oh no, we don't want to do tank. We want to do MURLs. That one doesn't matter. That one's fine. That one's fine. That one's a bit expensive. And we don't care about expenses. Mainly I care about days. That one's actually okay. Yeah, I think that this one adds a lot of time, which I prefer not. This one adds a lot of money, but maybe that's okay. Let's inch it up a little bit more. 71%, that seems good. So MLRS prototype. Dang it, your map resetting kills me every time. Okay, good. Oh, and then because it's 2021 and already in March, we do have a chance to set our new budget, but look at the revenues. Oh my gosh, we're making 300 billion. So that does mean if we don't need the money this year, which we're going to, because by the way, we're going over to the military and we're making some changes here. First of all, can we activate any recruit campaigns? A lot of interesting things to say here. So just like in Supreme Ruler, you do have an option to change your training, which improves the quality of your troops. But not only that, you actually control your recruit budget, which influences what are the number of people who are going to be available. And you also, it goes down way into the weeds here, right? You actually choose which categories are going to receive new troops. I don't think we need any more in the intelligence because we have like 500,000 people just sitting there. So let's reduce that a fair amount. I know that infantry is fairly important to keep high. I actually want armor pretty high. Special forces is like okay. We also want pilots and we definitely want sailors. So armor, we're going to need a lot of that. Infantry, special forces, click. Ooh, no, not like that, not like that. So you can see that right now we're going to lose a ton of people if we keep things the way they are. We need to recruit more people. So now that we're up to 50 billion, hey, we just financed it with taxes, right? And this is like the point of this playthrough is to be a little bit belligerent. So let's increase training at the same amount. Not only that, but there are opportunities for you to choose a recruit campaign, which will basically be a free bonus in some way. So if we want to do defend the homeland, secure the future, then it will be a recruit bonus of 5.3%, recruit. And soldiers experience, so essentially the training, will go down 2.7%. If we want to do this though, however, we need to have at least an active war or enemy's military power is 75% plus of ours. Now, because I think the United States is considered an enemy, and their military power is greater than 3/4 of ours, we can choose this. But I don't want to lose the soldier experience. So let's look at other things. Guess what we can do? Because we are full authoritarian, we can do elite training, elite future. And that one gives us, it does cost us a flat amount, and I think you have to reactivate it every year. Is it better? I don't know. Or is it a one-time? No, it's a one-time fee, I think. Question mark. Not sure. But anyway, we have the full authoritarian. Getting military spending to 5% of your GDP, by the way, at least in this game, is just, it's like no joke. It's insane. It's not easy. It is very much not easy to get full military budget to 5% of your GDP. So that's just not easy to do. I try to do it as the US because this is, I think, the best one. Anyways, because we are full authoritarian, we can do it. Let's go ahead and activate it. We have one active campaign. That's probably the best one. So even if I'm not sure if we're allowed to activate more than one, this seems to tell me that yes. Anyway, this should increase, and it does look like it's an active campaign costing us 11.5 billion per year. I mean, if I'm reading that correctly. So let's just match that as well with a little bit of increase here. Good. So now you can see the next year's recruits, and they won't be brought into the army until January. So you have a serious manpower thing to contend with. Beautiful. Love this game design, by the way. Just another part of this game that I feel like the mechanic of this is brilliant. It's really good. If you're into the messing with the military numbers and the stats and all that, this is going to satisfy you. I mean, this is great. Let's increase even more. I need more. I don't really care about raw infantry. I want to man all the tanks and APCs and all that stuff that we're going to build So mostly what we need is probably pilots. Let's get a few more than just that. Let's get that many. And we need more sailors as well. I mean, maybe only 24% because although, yeah, I mean, we may not actually want that many. I'm just thinking now, since we're not going to go super Navy heavy, we're just probably going to use what we already have. Maybe build a little bit more. But then, I mean, so how many undeployed do we have is the important thing. For pilots, we have 0 undeployed. Oh, yeah, we need more. We need more. We're going to almost triple the size of our Air Force starting with next year. But I think it's important because we're going to try to get a lot of airplanes and all that. Other than that, armor, a lot of APCs and all that. So we already have 500,000 undeployed. That's great because we're going to need a lot of those guys when we get, the military industrial complex is going to be rolling in full in China pretty soon. We probably got to start it as soon as our design gets up. We design new stuff, then we start building those new things. That's the plan. Okay, so I kind of just left off with there. That's good enough. That's a lot of time we spent looking at that. I don't think we need to look at it anymore. Okay, good. Another design failure. We were at 59%. What are we at now? 61. All right, fantastic. So CAS, that was CAS, right? Yeah, we have no air. We're going to fail another air helicopter very soon. We may even start to see that we're starting to... Now, these are psycho expensive tankers. I'm not going to use that. Well, cargo is probably a little bit better. Yeah, this is doable. Okay, electronic warfare. You can see it only goes to 0.01. You can't really... I mean, the moral of the story is it doesn't really make sense on... it doesn't really make sense. I mean, there's so many misspellings, typos. That's fine. We can look beyond those. That's okay. I don't mind typos. Payload is pretty expensive. Okay, 63% difficulty. I mean, this is almost a realistic design. I wanted to get this a little bit higher. How do I get that higher? Which one of these threes is the least expensive? So 432. Oh, it's definitely the maneuver. And that brings it up to 68. Oof, this one's not. Payload is not helpful on the time. Yeah, at the time, this is better. So we'll do this. 69, maybe 70, 514. There it is. 518 days, a year and a half, 2.1 billion. We'll go ahead and do it, though. I'm going to put air transport because... Oh, no, this is cargo. So air... We can do cargo then. Transport is ground, cargo is air, I guess. We'll just try to remember that. Ah! Dang it. That's stupid. Map jiggle gets me every time. Okay, so I want to also turn off these little trade things. These green things, by the way, if you want to know, are little icons to let you know they're representing the different trades going on. So the Philippines is apparently exporting to Hungary some iron. And each one of these logos will represent something. Some of them are aircraft. Looks like all of them are aircraft. I thought that some of them were sea. But they're probably, I mean, I'm seeing here that they're all represented by an airplane icon. Some of them may be not that, though. They might be, I'll just turn that off, though. I don't think it's that important to see that. Cities, seaports, airports, those are all fine. Okay, good. Whew, well, man, I see it's already in 35 minutes. We can go back and unpause and, try to make some more progress. But, boy, I'll spend the whole episode just finagling with the military and all that. But I think we're in better shape. Next thing for us really is just to start good. I don't know, so 61%. Start building units is what I was going to say. Designing real units, 61%. And that was air, and we already replaced it with an air. So we only have one air and one land, but we have two navy. I guess what we should do is probably just most bang for our buck. Maybe another tank prototype. Well, I guess I can get a defense prototype. These are expensive, and oh my gosh. Yeah, they're just too crazy. No, we're not going to do it. Cargo? I didn't do a cargo yet, did I? These probably don't matter too much, just like the artillery. I max it out. Hey, if I max it out and we actually get this, we'll just keep this. So let's call this our cargo prototype. No E because I can't bear it anymore. Yeah, that's fine. Good. Keep going. And a lot of stuff's going on here, which we haven't really found. I haven't really done negotiations either. So one thing we can do is we can go right-click on Taiwan, and apparently we have an embassy agreement. But you know what? Why don't I send an insult? Your realm is unsprawling as your incompetence is limited, just as a toddler shouldn't play with knives. A fool like you shouldn't meddle with nations. Your reign is the perfect illustration of why some bloodlines should remain thin. Okay, that's you sold me. This is great. It'll decrease our relationship by 0%. What? Well, I can see why. We're already at negative 60. We'll send the insult anyway. We're not going to declare war yet, but this is the method we're going. And maybe, although I could see a final war between us and Russia being fun, since we do share a thing, well, I don't know, maybe we can like insult Mongolia. They're democratic and we see that as a threat. So maybe we can take them over. They only have 18,000 personnel in their military. By the way, we should check out what exactly Taiwan has. Again, left click does not bring up any info. You have to right click. It's very strange. So they are in some agreements, but 7 aircraft, 180,000 personnel, and 5,800 missiles. Well, we have them trumped about 6-1, 8-1, 7-1 in missiles. 7-1, let's call it. Yeah, okay, well, this is good enough. So our insult is just, it's a prelude to war, really. We'll have to move some forces around there. Again, this is actually sad for me that this... Let's invade Vietnam first, because they're at least land-based power, and then I can just roll my troops in, which I know how to do. And that'll give me time to learn how to invade people amphibiously off camera. Okay. So budget-wise, I don't know if we needed to make any changes. It's May. We can hold on to that a little bit longer. What other resources? So we can check resources. Just going through the normal loop here. Roll time. All right, so what are we doing here? What do we have a deficit in? I guess I can sort by amount. We have lots of toys, textiles. So we should be exporting those. Oh, one thing I can do is have a little bit of fun. We'll keep rolling time slowly in the background. Let's go to our military inventory and start taking a look at the various things that we have. So as far as tanks go, we have probably our best tank is the MBT 3000, I guess. It is, funny enough, looks like a lot of stuff's finishing. I'll have to redo that in the next video, between videos. But it looks like this one is more expensive, and it's more HP, lower speed, lower attack, lower anti-air. Well, that's pretty cool, though, that it had a fighting chance, but it's way more expensive for, Does that mean the MBT 3000 is... I don't know how these things work. I'm just not going to speak about it. But MBT 3000 is our best tank. So that's probably clear. Is anything better than 6.17 for attack? Probably not. Yeah. So although we have some of these, what I want to do is just let's make a quick amount of money. Let's just sell a bunch of things to the market. And that's fun to do just as like something to show off. Let's go over to the marketplace. No, not marketplace. It is World Market. World Events. Is it here? Nuclear deploying units. Maybe it is Marketplace. No, I'm pretty sure it's World Market. I'm missing it somewhere. Hold on. We'll get there. World Market. Here it is. Great, 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 great. So, exports, imports. So technically there should be things here that other people are selling, but maybe the world market is in a bad place right now. There's the free market too, which this is where we're grabbing some of our energy, I hope. So I don't know what the AI has done for us. Hopefully it has engaged in some trades. I don't know. Oh, this is us with all these people. Right, sorry, I wasn't really thinking about that for a second. I wasn't thinking about things correctly for a second. So, biggest trading partner is apparently Saudi. Is it Saudi Arabia or UAE? I can't tell. Yeah, definitely not Saudi Arabia. So is that UAE? My ignorance, I apologize. No, not quite. It's close. I don't know what country this is. I have some guesses. Western Sahara is so close. South Africa? No. I don't know. Sudan is red, white, black. Well, whatever. I mean, I'm not even going to try to figure it out. I mean, it'd be nice if you could rest your cursor here and just, it would tell you. Oh yeah, Saudi Arabia is number 2 for us, so that's close. But would have guessed the UAE. It's just not. It's one of those places, I'm sure. Anyway, so our market imports are 19 billion. Our market exports are 252 million. Well, this is certainly not the case of real China, which exports a lot more than it imports. But under Tortuga's weird China, we actually import almost 10 times what we export. It's because it's macrit. If it was the market, we would know better, but it's the macrit. Yes, it actually shows what our imports and exports are. So yeah, I mean, things are a little messed up for China. We're not going to look at the world market anymore. Let's go. I mean, free market. Let's go to the world market, and this is the cool place where you can actually put your military units up for sale. So let's sell some military units. These are going to be the ones that are in our inventory. So I need to go back to our military inventory for land, tanks, and let's deprecate a few units here. So this T-15, Type 15, actually the Type 15 is fine. The Type 59 is too old. Let's deprecate that one. Type 69, also old. We'll deprecate it, but you know, it's 0, so we don't really have to do anything with that. 88's not, yeah, it's too old. Okay, so 88. So 59 and 88 are going to be our targets. And the other two, the 96, 99, those are new enough that I'm going to give them the nod. They can stay because they may fight valiantly. Who knows? But 59 and 88 are going to be deprecated. Good. 59, 88. Let's go sell those on the world market. Sell. Type. No, it's not sorted. I don't know how this is sorted. Land, type. Oh, well, here's type 88. And we can get, you know, a cool 1.15 billion from this. Let's add that to the market. Let's also add the type 59. Yeah, let's add some of those. Add to the market. Now, it didn't show up, but if I advance a little bit of time and go back, I think that it will now show up on the world market. Or did our money just go up? I don't know, because they're both gone already. I'm pretty sure that they were just bought immediately. And look at that, another design failure. So patrol. Okay, let's go over to unit design, see where we're at now. 64%. I mean, we're getting there. It's tedious, but we're getting there. Okay, well, anyways, I'm going to call this video to a close here. I didn't get as far as I would have wanted in this video. We're in June. How do we feel about the budget now that we have a balanced budget and we have 200 billion coming in? And by the way, this dropped a whole bunch just because of all of our military stuff, right? The military personnel expenditures. But we'll have a lot of people able to deploy next time. Uh-oh. Oh, the Union of Human Rights is protesting. Well, this is another side of the game which I don't usually have to cover because we usually, as the U.S., we're doing okay. But the Union of Human Rights is not happy, and how can we satisfy them? With higher democracy and higher liberalism. Well, the higher democracy, I feel like we can do something about that. We can, because there are a lot of laws that I can go back and like relook at. So maybe I'll do that off camera as well. I've heard that there's a bug that this protesting thing will not go away, that you can't solve this problem. We'll figure that out ourselves. I haven't had to deal with it yet, so we'll unfortunately figure that out together. Okay, anyway, until the next episode, hopefully next episode, by the way, goal is to go to war with Vietnam. I think we can do that even with the current forces that we have, so I don't need to wait to design the new great unit, which I'd like to do, and then start building that. Although we haven't even showcased the manufacturing, where we can actually start, you know, that prototype that we got, we could produce it. We shouldn't, because it's just much worse from a value proposition than the MBT 3000. But we could buy it right here and start producing it. And then you can assign, we have 195 land factories, just 1,000, 1,000,000 of them. That's so many that we could get all of these all at once. But I don't actually want to do that. So yeah, we'll look at more of this at the next episode. get those going, but at the same time, with the current forces we have, we can declare war on Vietnam. Until the next one, thanks for watching this one, and take care.